If you want to level up your game development AI automations, not so you can crank out more AI slop, but so you can leave out the technical details and implementations and the manual labor and instead focus on what really matters, crafting the player experience, focusing on the game design, and actually making your game better, more fun to play, more polished, and better looking in general. Then in this video I'll show you how you can do all of that using command line tools, and more specifically custom built tools that actually fit your workflows. So let's get into it. Tools to make your Claude automations more autonomous and help you ship games faster and focus on the stuff that matters. A lot of game development has a lot of tedious manual stuff where you just have to put things in place, make things exist, and then only you get to actually tweak things and make them look good. The first example is building UI. So let's say you want to build something like this, you have some kind of upgrade UI with buttons and stuff. It's much better if you get a layout like this made by Claude, and then you just tweak the placement of elements and the size of everything, instead of you having to first place down everything by hand and make sure that the kind of hierarchy of elements makes sense. And then of course, not to mention hooking it all up to the code so that it actually all works together. Now, of course you could do that, and it wouldn't take you maybe more than 20-30 minutes to do all of that. But then on the other hand, you could just have Claude do it for you. You could have like a half passable layout automatically done for you, and then all you have to do manually is just like this, make sure that all the elements are positioned and scaled correctly. I know which one I would choose given the option. So the first kind of the point here is that we want to make the scaffolding and building of the things as automatic as possible. Then our job is to tweak it until it's perfect. And even for the placeholder stuff, like the initial layout, with good tools, it's not like you are creating AI slop when you ask Claude to build a UI. When your tools are good enough, the initial pass already looks like what you visioned. You could even draw a sketch on paper and then have Claude recreate the exact sketch in engine. That's kind of the power of building good tools. You're not leaving it up to chance, you're not leaving it up to the generation of the AI. You are actually getting more control over the outputs. Good tools don't make AI necessarily make better stuff. In my opinion, good tools make AI create stuff that matches closer to what you had in mind to begin with. Now, there are levels to this. The first level is that the AI just writes the code. If you ask Claude to create some UI for your game without having any tools or MCPs or anything like that, then it will literally write code that generates you UI at runtime. And it will look absolutely terrible, I can tell you that. You can try it yourself and let me know. But that's like the very worst level you can do. Just ask Claude to do it. Now, you could also ask Claude to write the code for it, give you instructions, and have you make it manually, which is a step up, but it's still it's far from optimal. The second tier is using something like MCP servers. This will make it so that Claude can start actually building things in the engine. It can actually put things down in engine and make something actually happen there. But the problem here is that it has very limited control. Building things like UI or prefabs or anything in engine with the MCP servers, you'll get results, but it's not really tailored for your workflows. For the UI layouts, it really depends on what kind of mood Claude is in on the day. But with custom tools, which is the level 3, you can actually create the tools so that it can do great results. Things like UI builders, where it creates some kind of JSON or YAML based schema, and then that schema is turned into a Unity UI, where the logic of converting the schema into UI is planned out so that the results are consistent. That's the beauty of these tools. More control and more intention behind the actual functionality. For me, the 3 tools I like the most is just general Unity work. This is mostly about building prefabs and working in scenes. Editing and managing prefabs can be a lot of work, and it can be really annoying if your game has like 50 prefabs or hundreds of prefabs rather. Like, I have only 2 stages and I already have like 20 different enemy prefabs, a bunch of different decoration prefabs, everything like that. If I have to, build the scaffolding every time, that's gonna be a lot of work. Even if you can just duplicate everything, it's much easier if Claude actually has the tools to do all of this. Then you can even have it set some placeholder values that kind of match what you had in mind, and it can also automatically attach all the right scripts into your objects so that the logic works and you just have to make sure that it feels and plays the way you wanted it to. UI building we already covered. It's depending on the game, this can be a lifesaver. Some UI heavy games would be a nightmare to build by hand compared to the workflows this enables. Particle systems is another pretty cool thing. You can actually have Claude build some placeholder particle effects for you. Particle effects is another pretty cool thing. You can actually have Claude build some placeholder particle effects so that you have to do a little bit of a tweaking to them. You don't have to make them from complete scratch. So I built this tool where Claude can actually edit the particle systems, then it can actually run the particle system and take screenshots at keyframes to actually get a GIF or a kind of grid view of what the particle looks like inside the Unity engine. Then it can actually debug if, for example, like these don't show anything, then it can actually iterate until they show something and they work as intended, like this. Here, this is actually a perfect example. The first pass of this effect just shows nothing. So then Claude goes and fixes something, and now it looks like an actual particle effect. Now it's of course not perfect, so then all I have to do is go to the engine and tweak it until I like it. Much faster than setting up all the modules from scratch. Then, once you have a few effects you already like, you could even have Claude study the parameters of those effects and apply similar parameters to future particle systems. So when it creates you new particle systems, it starts from the place of a foundation of what you already like and what you already have for the game. So the new effects are more consistent with what you already have and what you have already created by hand. So yeah, the point is, the tools replace manual work, having to always do the same tasks that have no creative kind of levers for you to pull, clicking through the meaningless editor buttons where your input has no value, and instead what's left for you to do is use your judgment to make it all look good and make all the game mechanics play the way you want them to. And in general, it just means that you get to spend more time being the designer and not just clicking buttons in the editor. Now, how do you actually build one? It really depends on the scope you're going for. The first step is, of course, deciding what you want to build, and then basically you can just describe it to Claude. Now, depending on the scope of your project, creating these tools can be a bit of a more involved task. It's not always trivial to link things to Unity, But if you want to look into actually creating custom tools like these, you should check out my link in the description. I do like to talk to you guys about custom tooling like this, but if we want to get into the weeds of it, then you should check out my stuff in the link and we can talk more there. The first step is just to have Claude write it and then test and iterate. Claude is pretty good at building the tools, but oftentimes there are mistakes, and for me it did take a lot of iterations to actually make it happen. But the beauty of it is that it's not just about building the one tool, it's about building a set of tools that automate all the aspects that you don't need to do yourself. And it's about getting to reuse the same tools in later projects. That's really the beauty of it. Your first project will be the slowest one you make. After that, each project keeps getting faster and better. Not just because of the tools, but also because your skills improve and you actually get better intuition of what you want the things to feel like. So even the tweaking process of getting things right becomes faster. So go ahead and build your own Claude tooling or any other AI you may use. Comment down below if you're building one. Check out the link in the description and come talk to me about the tools you're building, the things you want to build, and let's see if I can help you guys make your games faster and better. See you in the next one.